from the Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I am Get, your host. That blood moon of, I believe, January 2019, and then followed by the new moon of February 2019 is definitely woke a lot of people up, motivated a lot of people. So what we have now is the person on the left is a female that wants to know more about her relationship with the person on the left, on the person on the right, which is the male. The female on the left, male on the right. Now remember, anybody that's requesting the Natal Chart readings or analysis or the twin flame, they all get the free reports, all on astrology, all on the 12 houses, all on the planets, the signs, what's in the house, what it means, things there about the Archangel, how they correspond with astrology. Some stuff is in there about chakras, I think. Tarot cards is in there. So that's a free report. And that helps people because this will ultimately, it is your answer. It's just that because we're in a fleshly body, we always look to the flesh. Either we look to another person or we look to something physical, and we don't tap into our power, which we all have. See, the more you tap back into your source, the more power you have. Your confidence goes up, and you're not as worried about every little thing. And that's how you start to see different opportunities come your way. It's through your own power, which is like magnetism. And if you understand how the universe functions, it's a lot of a lot of magnetism, things like that. So I always tell people to tap back into the universe. All right. We'll go right in. Person on the left, again, this is the female who requested this. That is her first house. It's just that it's in her 12th house, but that is her first house. And it's going to be Gemini. Gemini ascendant. Now, just give me a moment because I'm going to be bouncing around like I always do. So your ascendant is also called your rising sign. It's where the sun was going over the horizon when you were born. So that is your ascendant, but it's also called your rising sign. All right, so for a Gemini ascendant, your most significant past life was associated with Taurus. That doesn't mean your only past life, but they're saying your most significant past life was associated with Taurus. In this past life, you had an earthly nature and were consumed with sensual desires. You are now looking for a life that is mentally stimulating, filled with interesting experiences that keep you engaged. Avoid losing your grounded nature and becoming vacillating and flaky. You have the opportunity to be a great communicator through teaching, writing, or some intellectual pursuit. Your karma is to avoid being too rigid. You may have been a painter, musician, gardener, or wealthy business person. So let's look at a little bit more. Just give me a moment. So Gemini rising, they love to learn, curious about life, curious about things. They're always looking for something that'll help them socially. So if someone is pestering you with questions, they may be a Gemini ascendant. They are restless and often appear impatient. Their cleverness can intimidate some people, especially if they are sensitive. They can, however, get too caught up in their intellectual puzzles and forget about the life around them. They say that this may be a shield that the Gemini uses to hide. So there can be two different sides of a Gemini because it's duality. You have the bubbly, talkative, eccentric Gemini, and then you have the cool, intellectual. So one moment Gemini can be very talkative, witty, and the next they can be a little cold. But they love to analyze everything. Geminis tend to say what they think others want to hear. That has to do a lot with their duality. And they may even mimic other people. And they are the model for multitasking. It said that a Gemini can give the impression that it's really paying attention when it's actually not paying attention at all. But they have the ability to absorb a lot of information, and they don't mind sharing the information. Geminis make excellent teachers, writers, researchers. and anyone else who utilizes information. Gemini rising does not like schedules, and they can seem to thrive in chaos. They are natural social butterflies. Gemini ascendants like their space and freedom. They don't tend to be clingy. They don't tend to be clingy. They love to debate and swap ideas. They are gifted with their mind and their hands. They may be good at crafts, especially crafts that stimulate their mental capacities. So a Gemini ascendant may be a Jack or Jane of all trades, but a master of none. So now your EP, which is like the heart of the sun, which is the ego. Now, this is where we have our dilemma. Looking at your chart, it looked like your AC and EP was in the same house, but they're not. Your AC really is beginning in the first house at 0 degrees. But because it's so close, it's going to be very similar. But really, your first house is that AC, your ascendant, with Venus and Saturn. And your 12th house is where your east point is. But it's very close. It's so close that you're going to share those energies. But your rising sign, your ascendant, is 0 degrees Cancer. And again, because these birth date numbers were given, these birth times were given through the angels, you may want to keep that in mind as well. So let's look at a Cancer rising sign. If you have Cancer rising sign, your most significant past life was associated with Gemini, and this life you were intellectually, they're saying in this past life, you were intellectually but not emotionally expressive. Your easygoing nature allows you the freedom to split from one activity to another with no commitment. Now you are focused on a more responsible life that includes home and family. Your karma is to balance your emotions with your intellect. Avoid letting your mind overrule your heart. In a past life, your superior skills as a communicator allowed you to be a great salesperson, orator, teacher, or writer. In this life, you're ready to pay more attention to your inner emotional nature. And I have a very I think you're going to be flipping from the 3 houses. Alrighty, so your Gemini is in the 12th house, so that is your spiritual house. It can deal with buildings. It can also deal with helping other people. But you may really be in that capacity of a teacher to other people. Now, whether that's a teacher professionally or just somebody that teaches, talking to other people and teaching, you would know that. Now, EP again is the sun, but it's like the heart of the sun. It's where the sun was going over the ecliptic when you were born. But the EP can be like an ego, your EGO. And as you see right there, it's 8 degrees, but that is a give me one moment. Now, the Cancer ascendant is going to be more family minded, loves nurturing, more motherly, finds security in like the home setting. Cancer rules the 4th house of teenage to adult education, land or property, real estate, ancestors, family, the heart, health, travel, and whoever raised you in a mother position when you were younger. That would be the Imom Kweli. That's all Cancer energy. And the moon is the ruler of Cancer. And that moon in Cancer is connected to the nurturer, or like I said, the mother energy, or the Imom Kweli. Now your sun at 1 degree. They're saying a lot. I'm just being very careful. Just give me a moment. So they're saying the number 1 can be like a divine message, but also in the tarot like a divine messenger. Also in the tarot card, number 1 is a magician card. But see, he is Mercury energy too. So you're going to have a lot of Mercury. You're going to have a lot of magician, because you're a Gemini. You have Mercury in that same house, and that's at 22. 22 is another very metaphysical number. That's like the number of God's people. Is number 22. That's where you get your 1111 from, and the number 4, which is angelic. Now, just so you know, even when I was doing your cards, because that's how I got the time of birth, and when I was doing your cards, Gabriel, because the cards I used when I first got started, I couldn't afford cards, so I printed cards. I started my readings off with printed cards that I printed right off the web, and then I was able to afford my first deck that way. So I still use those cards because they're very accurate. One time a female said she didn't know her date of birth, so I used those cards, and the archangels gave me her exact time. I said date, but a time of birth. And she said, "Oh, I did know my time of birth. I just want to see." She was like, "Oh, you knew." She was shocked. So you could see, like, if you're looking, you could like see through those cards. Like, even if they're upside down, you can still see because it's like white paper, copy paper. But Gabriel kept looking through, and usually when Gabriel does that, he has a connection to one of those people. Now, Gabriel is Thoth, is Hermes. Now, a lot of people may not know that. Like, a lot of stuff takes a lot of deep studying, and also a lot of stuff is just only known to like the elite. Like, there's a person on YouTube called Louis J. Armstrong, and even he tells you that Thoth is the I am. Like, I am that I am. And also, in one of his videos, he kind of compares Thoth to an angel. He just doesn't call him Gabriel, but he does say the trump though. He does go into the trumpet. So that's on Louis J. Armstrong's channel. You can find it. So what I'm trying to tell you, even like Merlin the magician and all that, so you have that same energy. And I didn't start off doing it this way. See, I've been doing this a long time. Whenever you see stuff like this, there's a reason for everything. And that's why I try to tell you, the more you tap into this is who you really are. But when we go into third dimensional, we start worrying about everything. Oh, what about my boyfriend? Oh, what about this? We start worrying about all this third dimensional stuff, and we detach. And so, like I said, so when somebody tries to tell you who you really are, you be like, I don't care. I don't really care nothing about that. Is he my twin or not? But I still got to tell you regardless. So that's why you got all this strange stuff going on as far as your placements and all that. So now, the number 8 with your EP. Okay, and that's like the strength card, but it depends on which tarot deck you're using. Number 8 is a strength card. That again is Leo energy or Sun energy, if it's number 8. But it could also be the Justice card, which is Libra energy. And Jofiel did come out, but really, how I got your time. This is how I got your time. Raguel came out first. That's number 9. That would be like Jupiter energy or Sagittarius energy. But he was holding the scales. So I said, well, that could be either way, because those scales could be Libra. Number 7. The next card that came out was Ariel. So that's number one, first house of the zodiac. Ragu is a ninth house, but with those scales, it could be the seventh house. And then the next card that came out was Jophiel, which was number 7. So once I get that, the seventh house. So once I get that, I look at the what synchronicities, what similar things are going on, what consistencies are going on. The consistencies was the scales. So that's how I know it was 7:19 a.m. Now, so that number 8 could either be the Strength card or could be the Justice card. And the Justice card is Libra. And that's going to be the twins or the couple, duality. And that's what your twin, your Gemini is. Your next card is Juno, which is Jupiter because it's number 10. That's the Wheel of Fortune. See, all this is astrology. All of this is astrology. Your Bible's astrology. Everything's astrology. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. And so you got like ones. So everything keeps saying like a new beginning from an ending. A new beginning from an ending. So something might end in your life, but it's just going to restart with a new beginning. Because you got a lot of ones. And just the way your chart is, it could go either way. So your Juno shows you who you would be in a serious relationship with. So that might be Gemini energy, or the 12th house is ruled by Pisces, or a Pisces energy. And this is why you got all that stuff going on. So you're special. Not to get a fat head, I'm special too. But I just stay low. I'm a low guy from Jersey. I just had a situation with somebody that was a little frustrating. Then I realized to just trust the universe. Let it go. Because that's what I mean about control. When you're in third dimension, you want to control everything. Sometimes you just got to let it go. Trust the universe. It takes a while to learn how to do that. It's not easy. Especially if you think you're right. Because if you think you're right, you want to duke it out. But a lot of times the universe is still going to knock you down. Because they're trying to teach you to let go. So even if you're right, the universe may still knock you down. Maybe. Just to teach you how to let go. But then sometimes, you'll fight and you'll win. So, 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter energy, which is good for twin flame relationships. And when you have Jupiter in the 12th house, again, that's your guardian angel. The more you stick to your calling, the more that Jupiter energy is going to bless you with finances and expansion, because that's what Jupiter does. Now, your Mercury at 22, again, that's what you could say the twins, 2-2. How the tarot cards work, you go to Major Arcana, number 21, and that's it. Now, they say the number 0. See how yours goes right to 0, the next to your ascendant? That's how tarot cards go. They go from 21, and then they go to 0, which is the Fool. But they end at 21 and restart with 0, the Fool. So the Fool is actually like 22. Because it means new beginnings. And that's what your whole chart is saying right here. From one ending to a new beginning. So you're going to be a great communicator, some type of teacher, and as you serve other people, you'll see the universe blessing you. And when things look dire straight, when things don't look well, that's when Jupiter energy will bless you. Because you have Jupiter energy in your Juno. See, Juju, Ju. But also your Juno, as you work with your twin, your twin soul. Now remember, your twin soul is the same soul two different bodies. That's your twin soul, is your twin flame. Your soulmate is anybody that could be in your soul tribe or soul family. But usually it's somebody you're kind of close to or has some type of experience with, a deeper situation with. But that is your Juno at 10 degrees. And that's usually Gemini energy. It could be Pisces energy. Could be Sun energy. Or even Libra energy. You say, well, how am I supposed to know? When the charts are together, you can begin to see it. Like, I know people get frustrated. Like, believe me, you have to understand. That's what I'm trying to teach you. The more you trust these archangels, the more you trust spirit, the more you realize it's not difficult. When it's time for you to really know, you'll know. I could not understand my natal chart until recently when a soulmate came. And right before the soulmate came, one of the best astrologers in the world, who was Terry Nassan, told me. Right? So at the time, you'll have it. That's why I'm going to say it again. There's nothing wrong with having a boyfriend or love or nothing. But you're doing yourself a disservice when you're looking at that person for answers. Everything fits in place. That is your first house. Well, and yeah, 0 degrees will always mean like new beginnings. And on a tarot card, it's the high priestess who sent out the fool at 0. Because that's his card number 0. But that's trusting and moving forward. Trusting in the universe, knowing that everything's going to be okay. That's why he's about to walk off a cliff. And he's like smiling, like he doesn't care. Because he has so much unwavering faith in Mother God, the creator of everything. Because everything came out of her womb. And that's the high priestess. That he's not really worried. And the 12th house can also be secrets, things in your subconscious mind, and usually you want to use it to heal. If you have any healing that needs to be healed, you want to do reckoning. And this is why you keep a journal with you, not just when you sleep, but keep a journal with you even throughout the day, so you can be writing down things coming. Maybe you start daydreaming. You want to write things down. And again, another reason why your chart might be like that, because you may have had experiences with all that in your past lives, with Taurus energy, with Cancer energy, with Gemini energy. Now we're going to your first house, which is your ascendant, how people see you. But again, it's at 0 degrees, so it could still be Gemini or Cancer. Now you can already tell this is going to be a karmic relationship because you have Saturn. And somebody else said that Saturn also has to deal with your past life. But it was love. But at 15 degrees, that's the devil card. And that's people that are too obsessed with the external and the material world and the physical world, the finances, the financial. They're too obsessed, even with each other, that they actually like they kill the life. Like you might have each other, but it's no like when two people for whatever reason kind of hide from the world. So you might still have the love, but it has no life. It's dark. And it's also when two people are in a relationship that they kind of wish they could get out of. Now, Saturn shows you it's a karmic relationship, but it's 16 degrees. That's the Mars energy. And the Mars, the Tower card, means something has to be destroyed, intensely broken down, so it can be built back up. So the first house is ruled by Aries. And even when you look where your Aries is, you see all those ones. And then so all the implication, and remember everything I said that's in the fourth house, because this could fall in any of those areas. So there's a type of love that's there, but it's being restricted. But it's also a karmic situation, because karma is Saturn. So that love is being a little bit uh, too clingy, too obsessive, but it's also destructive with Saturn energy, but it's also karmic, because Saturn means karmic. And remember, Saturn rules Cancer, and your Cancer is in your 7th house, which is the house of relationship, business partners, contracts, the law, justice. So this relationship would be somewhat tumultuous for the reasons I said. And again, it's going to be Venus energy. And remember, Venus rules Libra and Taurus. It's going to be Saturn energy. And remember, Saturn rules Capricorn. And this can also affect your 10th house, because Saturn and Capricorn rule your 10th house. So you see, your 10th house has all that stuff in there. And you got 15 degrees again. So it's obsession. And that's why I was trying to say, and they already said it. They said about Gemini. Like, Gemini want it right now. And all that is hurting yourself. And, I know, I'm not going to waste too much time telling you that, because when a person is a certain way, that's how they are. But that's how she was. She was like, no, I need this. I need it right now. She's like, I need it right now. You got to understand. And, I understood, because I've been there too. And remember, my ascendant is Gemini. So I understand. But you hurt yourself. Because the process of walking with spirit, it's a process. And that's why I said, what happened with me, because I'm a worker. And I don't like, if I'm moving forward, I don't want to move back, especially if it's somebody else's whatever. But those things are going to happen, because you got to grow. You got to learn how to deal with it. And then when you start to say, you know what? 2 years ago, I would have really blew the top. 2 years ago, I would have said, hell no, I'm not giving in. But now you're like, trust the universe. Everything is going to be okay. Don't even worry about it. Let it go. Because the faster you get that type of energy away from you, the faster you can move forward. So that's how it's going to be. Like, it may take a minute before you learn it, but if it's too much intensity, too much clinginess, too much, I need it right now, the universe is going to break it up one way or another. You're going to have to. Because you won't grow if you don't. Because you'll always think that this is important. It has to be done right now. When in actuality, patience is the virtue, not impetus. So then we go to your second house. There's Leo. Your second house is your finances. It's ruled by Taurus. Finances. possessions and your value system. And Leo's there. So Leo can be a leader, but it could also be very creative. It could have something to do with children. It could have something to do with romance, having fun. So all those things could be going on in your second house, and as we move forward, we might learn a little bit more. Now, Leo rules your fifth house, and everything I just said, that would be in your fifth house. Leo can deal with ego as well. Third house is Gemini, which is your sun sign, and your east point. Virgo is there. Virgo is going to deal with your sixth house, which is home, healing, service, young children. So again, you keep seeing young children on your chart a lot. Gemini will be dealing with young children. Virgo deals with young children, sixth house. And Leo can deal with young children too. So you have some type of connection with young children. It could also mean immaturity as well. So again, with Gemini and Virgo, or Virgo and Gemini, this could be a somewhat homely type person with children. This could also be siblings, short distance travel. It can also be publishing. So you might have some type of connection with publishing, any home related stuff or house related stuff or service stuff or health stuff. Health. All that is Virgo in sixth house. Now there you have it again, your fourth house, which we already explained, ruled by Cancer, but Libra's there. Again, Libra's relationships, partnerships, social concerns, legal stuff, possibly cemeteries, open-ended enemies. But Pluto retrograde causes loss so that you can move on. So this is in your fourth house, really a family. But as you can see, your Cancer or family is also connected with love, Venus, and Saturn. And 6 degrees can be love. It could be Venus. It could also be the Lover's card. But a lot of people don't realize that the Lover's card really deals with doubt. Like when they see the Lover's card, they just think, oh, lovers. But it could also mean doubt. And a lot of times they say it does. The readers do. Because like I said, there's definitely relationship issues here. And when you keep seeing relationship with Cancer, that's a family type relationship. So you get to the fifth house. Wow. Well, go back. See, you got. See, your fourth house. I'm gonna say it again. Family, friends, associates, family, education, land, property, real estate, ancestors, teenage to adult education, the heart or health, vehicle, and travel. So that's gonna be very tumultuous because Pluto is there taking something away. And then anything at 29 degrees is definitely karmic. I think they even call it anaretic. But that also has to do with your soulmate. But Pluto retrograde means anything can come out of nowhere. So that's what's gonna shake up your relationship, that Libra. And like Jophiel, she actually came out twice on the reading. That same card, because I reshuffled. So she came out for you, and then she came out again for the gentleman on the right, your twin. So this is gonna be like a major shakeup. And then in the fifth house, if you got Scorpio in the fifth house, now see you have a free report. So make sure you become very familiar with what's in the eighth house. That's ruled by Scorpio. And what's in the 12th house. That's ruled by Pisces. But when you got Scorpio in the fifth house, it's probably going to be a lot of partying. And see, it's a lot of past life stuff going on. See, in the past life, if you did a whole lot of stuff like a lot of people with mixing drugs, or alchemy, or just fooling around with the spirit world and stuff. So you carry that into this life. Now again, if people are interested, nowadays there's a lot of information on like YouTube. It's just a matter of you asking the questions. Or you can go to like Yahoo search and start bit information. Oh, how do I stop this? How do I cleanse my house of spirits? All that stuff's out there. Now that stuff like I offer for like a service. But that's a lot of that stuff's out there if you just want to find out yourself. Because the moon in Scorpio is going to be very explosive as well. Scorpio can be very explosive, very stalking, clinging, obsessive, codependent. And see, even your vertex at cross, that's the vertex. Even that's 18 degrees, so that's the moon again. And even your moon is at 8 degrees. See, don't forget the 8 degrees can also be your 8, making a reference to your 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio. So it could mean obsession and stuff like that as well. Because if it means justice, it's almost like that it's laughing at you and saying, well, you deserve this at 8 degrees. And ironically, your vertex has 5-6 because they say his birth time was 156. And the vertex is like, the vertex crosses your fate, your destiny. It could be a soulmate. It could be your twin soul who is your twin flame. It could mean a significant meeting or a significant breakup. And as you can see, it's strong on that Scorpio energy. And then when you look at your chart, your Scorpio kind of connects to your Cancer. This is all watery emotions. And then connects to Aries, which is a fire sign. And Aries is off the hook. So you know this is going to be traumatic and explosive. And then they do it to you again. Your true north node, yeah, even your true north node, whenever you see your true north node, it looks like a horseshoe. But your true north node doesn't have the aura. So whenever you see a true north node without an aura, it means very dramatic. Now again, how I tell everybody, like, because you have people that they react adversely, and I understand why. But actions you take can also be a blessing. Cause it's easy, like it's easy, oh man, this is fucked up. Oh man, and but you don't cause I came a long way, and it takes time. Like I said, that's why I said you got to slow down and just start a pace. And if you fall, get back up. But you can do it, and that's the greatness of this life we have. You can do it, and the universe helps you. Cause that's why I say people think they're doing this on their own. You could never do this on your own. We would all go crazy. But you do have spirit. You do have spirit helping you. So y'all got past life stuff, and like I said, it may have been that type of life, a past life. Because like I said, it's almost kind of comical, because your true north node is your what you should be working on in this life. Your true north node, that little horseshoe, that's what you should be working on in this life. And then to find out your past life, you just go right across, go opposite. And ironically, your true north node, they made sure, when I say them, I mean I call them the creators, the people that really did your natal chart. They made sure that your true north node was Scorpio, because they're kind of implying it was with Scorpio in a past life that you got yourself into the situation. So they're kind of like I said, there's sneaking little laughs in there, like with the 8th degree and stuff like that. Because 8th degree could mean justice, like, oh, this is what you get. So they make your true north node leave Scorpio, but they're talking about in a past life, you may have really been really in there. You might have just been staying high. You may have been even altering drugs and mixing drugs, doing all kind of crazy stuff. And I have a friend out here, and that's how she was and her boyfriend, and they were both amped up, like extremely amped up. But then when I did the reading and everything, we found out that in the past life, that's what they were doing. They were trying to do alchemy, mixing the drugs, doing stuff with the drugs and stuff. So they were both twin flames. So he hated me. Like, I didn't even know this guy, and I was new to all this. I didn't even know what a twin flame is, and like, so this guy would always be talking trash and everything, and I was a different person because I didn't understand all of this. But when you're twins, you kind of know certain things. So I guess he thought that me and her had something which we didn't, other than if you call it like a soul family connection. But he was very, very upset and crazy. So the moon card, just like the number 6, or the lover card, can also mean doubt. Like the lover's card, I already said that it's doubt. So it's a lot going on here. And that's why I said, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's romantic when you see a Bonnie and Clyde, or you see two people strung out, and instead of one of them or both of them getting some help, they just stay together and just die. They die together in this life, and they probably wake up in the next life and probably do the same thing. So it's commendable. But what I'm trying to say is you can also get help. And sometimes when one person is strong, they help the other person be strong. But usually what happens is one person, even if they do begin to get better, they just keep going back for the other person. Like, they won't be strong for the other person because he needs me or she needs me. So now, at 0 degrees again, your true north node, which shows it doesn't have an aura, which means there's still going to be problems in this house. So far, the whole home and family thing is going to be really rocked, because this is your home. This is the 6th house, your home. Service, healing, small children, small animals, co-workers, subordinates. Sagittarius represents your higher self, long distance travel. It could mean foreign speaking people, philosophy, people who have class, religion, anything long distance or foreign. So to go to the south node, which is opposite of the north node, again, they're actually trying to give you 2 houses, taking you back to your 12th house with Gemini energy, as well as Taurus energy. And Taurus is in the 11th house, and that's going to be people, friends, association, and groups. And Taurus can be very sensual. Taurus can also be like a leader, but Taurus can also be very self-assuming or somewhat of a bully. But a lot of people like to follow the Taurus energy. So that might have been you in the past. And if you know, they keep showing you number 7. And it's also Taurus and Gemini energy. So whatever I said about the 12th house. So your Neptune retrograde means escapist. And again, that could be somebody getting high or using drugs. But that's an escapist. And remember, this is supposed to be the house of healing. So I guess they're kind of saying, well, if you really want to get healed, then do it. Almost like a challenge. Because that is the house of healing. But they can find out when somebody doesn't really want to get healed. Because they'll keep going back to what makes them feel good or what they're addicted to. So we're going to try to look at Sagittarius in the 6th house. Give me one moment, please. Give me one moment. All right. All right, so we're going to look at Sagittarius in the 6th house. Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign. They need to expand their experiences in houses with Sagittarius on the cusp. Now remember, they're opposite each other. Where Gemini is more like an immature and get to the point, and they're not really trying to go deep with you and stuff like that, kind of like bouncing around like a jelly bean, like a bean or something. Sagittarius is more mature. Like, depending on how a person's natal chart is configured, when they look at the ninth house or they look at Sagittarius, they know that's like a second marriage, or the people that broken up and gotten back together. Like, it's a little bit more mature. All right. So they say, they're saying a lot of stuff that they need to be telling. What they need to be talking about is Sagittarius in the sixth house. They're saying a whole lot of stuff that really has nothing to do with that. We will mention again that Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which we've already done. All right, so I'm gonna look at this. So Sagittarius in the sixth house is helping you to heal, helping you to mature through service. And remember, your natal chart's a little bit different, but usually the sixth house is opposite the 12th house, and both of those houses are houses of service. With Sagittarius in the sixth house, you have a great belief in faith, healing, and the power of positive thinking. You work hard and selflessly for others, believing that if you help one, you help all. And ironically, that's kind of what you have with your Gemini, because I think your Gemini is in the 12th house. So that's what they're implying about you, is that there is some past life karma. So they're really encouraging you to help others, and that'll help meet that karmic assignment that you have in this life. But whatever you do, you have to watch overindulging. So again, this person will be very adventurous, love to explore. And since this is the health and service, a lot of stuff you do in this house is going to be about that service and health. and the other things I said that are in the 6th house. And you'll probably be willing to take on a lot of assignments in this house, but you're using those to help you mature. So you may be a manager in this house or a teacher. Now they say that Sagittarius doesn't really like Sagittarius feels, I have more class, I'm more educated, so I shouldn't take a servant role. So when they put Sagittarius in the 12th house or 6th house, what they're really trying to do is get Sagittarius to be a servant, learn what it's like to be a servant. So in the 6th house, Sagittarius can learn self-service, selfless service, and not doing it just to get a pat on the back, because that's what it would be like in the 9th house. And again, Neptune retrograde can be the escapist at 10 degrees. And when you go back to remember, Neptune rules Pisces. That's your 10th house, your 12th house. When you go back to your 12th house, you see 10 degrees again. So you know that they're dealing with your twin. But also that 10 degrees represents Jupiter energy. And Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So they're really trying to heal both of you. Sound now number 7 is the Chariot card, which is Cancer energy. But they are associating relationship or Libra energy with your Cancer on this particular chart. Number 7 can also be a mystic number. So now that circle with the X going through it is called part of fortune or good fortune. So we'll look at that. Porter. So they're saying with your good fortune or part of fortune in the seventh house is just helping you. Like I said, it's taking the sixth house and the seventh house, which is about service, but it's helping you to mature and understand it so that you have feelings for other people. Because with Sagittarius, it's okay to teach it, but they really want you to feel it. And they say also with this arrangement, you may even get involved with astrology in the sixth house, numerology, or something spiritual or mystical. And that's why that number 7 can be a mystical number. And then when you go to your seventh house, again, it's just Capricorn right there. And remember, like I said, Saturn rules Capricorn. And to really get a better understanding, you probably just got to go to your 10th house, where you see definitely is a shakeup. See, it may have even been a situation over money in either this life or a past life. Then when you get to your 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio, so your 8th house and your 5th house. And now with that arrangement, Scorpio in the 5th house, Aquarius in the 8th house, their sexual relationships, or could be what you call, they call Aquarius the eyeball of the universe. So whenever you see Aquarius in these type of arrangements, it could be anything, but it's definitely not what people would think of as being normal. So when you get to the 9th house, it's ironic because Jupiter used to rule Pisces. Now Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Sagittarius rules that 9th house. But again, it could be implying that this person is even being inspirational in long distance situations or other countries or things that are far. And number 27 is a humanitarian, but ironically, it's with Pallas, and Pallas represents your soulmate helping you. So at that higher self, because this is the house of your higher self, and usually your higher self is you and your twin. The soul becomes one again, because your higher self is not restricted to the deceiving matrix. So your higher self is actually you and your twin back to oneness. And you see both of them as humanitarians with that 27 degrees. And that's the number of humanitarians. And then you see it's still a karmic relationship with Vesta. Vesta works with Virgo. But Vesta has to do with being saintly, being a priest. And also in some situations, Vesta will not like an aggressive man. So she sees that as being abusive, and she'll show up as well. Now, medium Coeli at number 4. Again, 4 is the number of the hard worker, but it can also be an angelic number. And medium Coeli actually works with the true north node. So once again, you see that they're going out of their way to connect Sagittarius energy to Jupiter energy. So that's like inspiration with abundance. So as long as this person stays on that course, inspiring and things like that, she'll be blessed by the universe. And like I said, she may be able to help her twin that way. Because this is a very extreme and volatile situation. But they're saying, she has to be stronger, because he's not going to be if she's not. And then they go to that 10th house, and you can only imagine what that 10th house was. But you got Aries there, Mars, you got 1-1, and you got Lilith. But Lilith is direct. Again, at 1 degree, and they said that 1 degree was like a divine message. And that's the Magician card, or Thoth. Because remember, Thoth corresponds with the moon. Because Thoth would be Gabriel. So he corresponds with the moon. And the moon will always be the high priestess. Because Aries in the 10th house could be anything, but it's definitely aggressive. Whatever it is, because that's your career and reputation house. It's definitely aggressive. And Mars is right there. And then because Aries rules the first house, you go back to your first house, and you do see the family there again. And everything else, like I said, education, and everything else I said. And real estate can be territory. Give me one moment. Like a lot of people are really going through stuff right now. It's the moon, but you're doing the right thing. That's why I try to tell you. This is what I'm saying. Like somebody stepped in and then stepped out. You're not hurting me. I'm out here. I keep my prices affordable. I'm trying to help as many people as, because I'm gonna try to tell you. Listen to RFG Chosen One. Like guys like me, we know. He knows. This third dimensional stuff is coming to an end. We're gonna get out of third dimensional. So whatever's still third dimensional is in risk of burning. And he teaches it. Like he's not the only one that teaches it. This is all about vibrations and frequencies. So that's why I said, instead of me getting all riled up, okay, this is what you want. Go. Go. Because then I don't have to worry about holding on to something that could be a dead weight to me. So trust the universe and go on. And what happens sometimes when you start to get stronger, believe it or not, other people begin to get stronger because they're following you. They don't want to be without you. They don't want to be left by you. They don't want to be left without you. But when you say, oh, I love you, I'm going to stay with, he needs me, oh, she needs me. And so you just stay there, and then it's a done deal. It's a done deal. So that's what's going on now. It's a lot of people, and it's the same thing. Because it's like, oh, we need answers, and I'm doing my best to get them to you. But we got to be realistic. And then don't get frustrated, because only person that's going to get hurt at the end of it is a person that taps out. The only person that's going to get hurt is a person that gets frustrated and gives up and stuff like that. The people that are trying to wake up and trying to understand, you got to understand the universe is alive. It really is. It's a mother. That's the mother womb. That's where everything came from, the mother womb. The more you realize that, you realize as long as you're reaching out, she's there to hold you. She's there to hug you. She's there to help you. But the moment you kind of give up or you betray people that are trying to help you, that's called karma. And that's why if you keep listening to these words, you're always going to see some form of like ma. That's the divine mother. Even if you go to India, they go ma. Even they say ma. And when you say ka, that's your soul or your spirit. So you go karma. You're talking about your soul, your spirit, and its connection to ma. And like I don't know all Mer language, but Mer language, when you see that aura always means ruler. So you got ka, ruler, ma. And again, if you just listen, when you say career is Capricorn in the 10th house. That's ruled by who? Saturn. Which, if you go esoterically, or even possibly mystically, that would be Satan. So now your Ka is your soul or your spirit. Now, Jesus told the devil or Satan, get behind me, Satan. So in other words, if you're looking at the spirit, like Jesus is supposed to be the Messiah and the spirit. So the spirit is telling Satan, get behind me. But when you go to career, ruled by Satan or Saturn, he tells your ka, or your soul, your spirit, your career, get in the rear. So what happens is you get so connected to this material world that you cut off your spiritual source. And so then when the world starts to change, you no longer have that vibration of spirit. Therefore, you can't ascend or transcend into the new world. So the whole point of your career is to put that ka in the rear. And that's why they don't do a whole lot of spiritual stuff. And it sounds stupid, or it sounds like, oh, you're just playing with words. No, but every number means something. Every word means something. And you're seeing it on the chart right now if you're listening. So this is the time to wake up. That's what the blood moon did it. And now the new moon did it. This is the time to wake up and get yourself in a position that you have nothing to worry about, because you are waking up and you are working with the universe. And no need to get frustrated, because as I said, if you're doing what you're supposed to, everybody is doing the best they can. So don't get mad at somebody because you want it done now and it can't be now, because everybody is waking up. And 980 tells you a lot of good stuff too. The Grox one, if he's still doing it, He used to say a lot of good stuff. Paul Bagley is really good with the news and stuff like that. But this is just higher than a religious belief. This is metaphysics. This is the true science by which this whole universe runs. It's not just based on a small religious belief, because that's what that is. This is a planet wide, universal wide. This is everything. All right, so now I'm gonna go back in. Now, this female, she calls herself the Christian psychic. She's interesting. So she wants to answer Lilith conjunct Mars. She's really going in. She made some good points though, but I don't want to use those just yet. We'll try this one. This guy's name is, let me see. Excuse me, everybody. Everybody's approaching this like a weird type of way. I guess they just have so much that just shows you how amazing Lilith is. Because nobody wants to just go Mars conjunct Lilith. They don't want to explain it. They want to just go deep into all this other crazy stuff that just give me a little bit of time. Alright, he says Lilith conjunct Mars is the power behind the throne of extreme fear. But it's kind of funny how he would say the throne, because if you look at where it's at, that's exactly what it looks like. It's almost like at the highest point at one and one. So that's what I say. So you're tapped in, but she knows it because she told me. She was telling me that you could actually. But this is why you get your natal chart because you can see it. But I've had people tell me some stuff that you would never believe it until you get the natal chart, and you can see that exactly what they're saying is on that chart. And that's why I'm telling you, it's a lot of people saying crazy and getting locked up for being crazy. Then those people are not crazy. It's just that we're in a matrix and they want to keep you dumbed down to materialism and all this bullshit that's on this planet, which to me is tantamount to worshiping the devil, to be quite frank. So when you get past all these matrices and how they set the universe up and how they keep us locked in and all that on frequencies, we're supposed to be at 444 hertz. They put us down like 440, like all kind of crazy shit they do to us. But like I'm saying, people are waking up now. And the best thing you can do is continue to wake up because then, like I said, you will help other people wake up too if you don't stop. But you would have to ask yourself, why was the throne of fear necessary? And this could have been some past life stuff and where fear was necessary for their occupation. I don't know. Or it might be a present life thing. Like, I don't know. But Lilith is a power behind the throne of extreme fear. That fear is used to motivate what their agenda is. So that's 1 degree, 1 degree. Once again, they said 1 degree is that messenger of God or a message from God. Remember, that's what Gabriel did. Gabriel gave messages allegedly to Muhammad. He gave messages to Mother Mary. He gave messages to Daniel. And it's funny how she's got that number 53 because we just had the 53rd Super Bowl, and I was told that was a very special event as well. 3 sixes could be 666, and then at the vertex you see 18, which could again 18 could be 666. So something was necessary in this 10th house to come from that messenger. And I already told you, it's like you got the, well, it was on another chart I said it, but it's almost like you got the divine feminine and the divine masculine working together. And then there's a lot of money here, but again, it's Capricornian money at 15, and that can mean bound. An intensity of Aries, but there's also a whole lot of healing with Chiron at number 26. '26 could be like an office manager, politician, event organizer, one who organizes charitable events. And they say 26 can be the communication from the realm of spirit. See, once again, even the number 26 is agreeing with what I said. So the 10th house is really looking at messages from some type of God. Now you gotta remember that ram kind of connects to the Hebrews. Like Abraham is kind of associated with the ram. You can even do that. You can go to YouTube and just type in Abraham ram. It's called Truth Iracy 3. TRUTHIRACY 3. Abraham, father, Abraham, Hebrew father, ram of Aries. And remember, Gabriel is the angel of the Hebrews. And 5-3 or 3-5 is Mother Mary, 555. And 3-6 is 666. That beats the Revelation 13. But when you dig deeper, you find out that beast is actually a liberator of God's real people. And God's real people go by that number 22. And it's right next to your Mercury. But Mercury is Thoth. That's another name for Thoth, who is Gabriel. So you'll be bringing a lot of healing to the earth if you do what you're supposed to. Now you see the Curious in the, I believe that's the 11th house. And Taurus is there. And the reason why Taurus is in the 11th house, because Taurus is a very magnetic and people follow Taurus. And you got the number 7. Again, it could be the mystical number as well, or the spiritual number. And it could also be the Cancer number. But Cancer can deal with family, but sometimes your family is just friends that you call family. All right, so that will conclude this to the left. Now we're going to the right. Right away, the ascendant is Leo energy. And since we've explained all this, we're not going to do it again. Like, we're not going to, if we already explained the number, we're not going to explain it again. And we're not going to explain the sign again. But now we got Leo. So the first thing you would do is look. So that's going to be Leo Aries energy. So the first thing you would do is look on the other chart and see where Leo is, or the 5th house. Because Leo is the 5th house. All right. So number 20. Because their ascendant would make him like a Leo, which could be a leader, but it also could be children, childlike, could be fun, could be creative, bold, boisterous, and it could be an ego thing as well. So that's the Judgment card. So that's the first time we've seen it with Venus. But that's interesting. What would be being judged? That's really interesting. But either way, the ascendant is showing a very loving, fun Leo. But just for some reason, it's Judgment. Going to his 2nd house at 22 degrees, Palace. And his 2nd house is going to be money and finances. But Venus does rule Taurus, and Taurus rules the 2nd house. So the 2nd house of money and finances and all that would be the home because of Venus. Could also be health and small children and whatever else is in the 6th house. And he has Mars there. So that's almost like military. Because it's finances, it's home, and then it's Mars, which could be military. because that's like Homeland Security, and 27 is humanitarian. And a lot of times when they fight wars, that's exactly what they tell you. We're fighting wars because we love peace. Going into the third house, which is Gemini, you have Libra, Pluto and Libra. And that's what you see over here. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the fourth house. Pluto and Libra. So that's going to be the transformation of Libra, the relationship. Sun at 4 degrees, sun sign Libra. Now, Libras, they can be kind of like idealistic. A Libra will, like they'll be idealistic. So when they get in a relationship, they're happy with it until they start to see the other person's flaws. And then they kind of like pull back. And they may not tell the other person, but they'll start like, they may start flirting with somebody at work or whatever. Like, but they don't really tell a person that they're in a relationship with it. Hey, I'm not happy right now, or there's a few things we need to work on. They'll just pull back. But what's interesting about this Libra, he has Mercury, so he is a communicator at number 10, which can become number 1, which again at number 10 is the World card, is that Jupiter energy. So that'll be a Jupiter Libra connection. And then the Curious asteroid is at 12 degrees. Well, that is the Hangman. So he might, like I said, he may tend to withdraw. The Hangman goes by himself, hangs upside down. That's Neptune energy. And then number 17 is Saturn or Karmic energy in his third house. But again, it could come out of nowhere, whatever he does. And then he has Lilith retrograde. Now, Lilith retrograde, she also goes internal. So he may be a person that kind of goes internal. And then also at 28 degrees, that's extremities. So that's kind of a bouncy house. He may have some issues with relationships because of it. All right. And then they do the same thing with him. His Juno is right at 0 degrees. See, like the 0 is always like, that's a novice. That's like the newbie. Probably won't be too good in the area. Just new beginnings. And so right in with Scorpio. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the fourth house of family, teenage, adult, education, land and property, ancestors, the heart, vehicle, and travel. But when you see Scorpio there, you know you're going to be dealing with power struggles, obsessions, watery emotions. And whenever you have a Cancer Scorpio mix, you got to be real careful of situation with spirits. You got to be very, very careful, because it could even be possession, and just got to be very careful. Even with hers, because she's got that moon, because the moon rules Cancer. Anything like that with Scorpio. And that's why I said, but they have information for all that online as well. A lot of videos on YouTube and stuff like that. And that's his Juno at 0 degrees. fifth house Sagittarius again. He's got psychic abilities as well, and she's gonna have psychic abilities again. Moon and Scorpio. Aquarius in the 8th house. So in his 5th house, you got his vertex and on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's amazing. See, that's why I think the times that the angels gave us was correct. Because they do it again. See how his Jupiter's at 0 degrees? And because they were doing the same thing to her. Like they'll make it leave right, like right in the house where there's a lot of activity. They'll make that very important planet or north node or whatever leave and go right to 0. Like they force a reset or they force something new beginning. It's like you're getting paid back for partying in a previous life. Ha ha. I'm not laughing at you. That just sounded nice the way it came out. All right. So what you and her have primarily is a Sagittarius connection. Both got part of fortune in Sagittarius. Both got Neptune in Sagittarius. His Neptune is 10 degrees. Her part of fortune is 10 degrees. Got Pluto and they both have Pluto in Libra. So he would find himself in a serious situation. No, let's do that again. But he's really psychic. See, he's going to be connected with Neptune and Sagittarius and the 5th house ruled by Leo. See, he's connected to a lot of stuff. He's probably even connected to stuff that's like not even in this dimension or off this planet. And because his part of fortune is at 10 degrees, that's still Jupiter energy. Because that's the Wheel of Fortune card. And they say like the number 24, they call it the return. And they go on to say how on the 24th of December, that's the darkest night. But that's right before their holiday of Christmas. So they call number 24 the turning point. And then they go number 2 is the high priestess, number 4 is the emperor, but they all become number 6, the lover card, the lovers. But as we've already learned, sometimes the Lover's card can mean doubt and uncertainty among the two. So number three, and number three is like the spiritual number. Well, the Neptune is the spiritual, but it's also mystical. And remember, Neptune rules Pisces, so it's a lot going on in his fifth house. Got spiritual, you got financial, and number three is the Empress. So she likes to create, but it's also small children, because the Empress is about small children as well. So his fifth house is also implying birth. So he's going to be somewhat of a dreamer. So when it comes to relationships, that's the third house, but he has a short view about it. You know, the moment it's not hitting him with his Neptunian fantasy world, he's going to kind of pull back. And so they put all that stuff in his. So her sixth house looks like his fifth house. But if you go to his second house, that's where that Palace is at 22. Because Palace helps pull the couples together. But Virgo is healing. It's healing energy. And that's why her sixth house looks like his fifth house. Because they're trying to heal. They're trying to heal any immaturity he might have. And then in his sixth house, his true north node at 23 degrees is Capricorn. So in this life, he's supposed to be career minded, serious about home matters, service matters, health and healing, small children and animals. In the past life, he was sort of like this Leo, romantic, fun, boisterous. Because whatever was his, because see that chart is made kind of funny, but his south node might actually be where Cancer is. And his first house is the AC. And his 12th house is the EP. All right. Number 23. creative, diplomatic, adventurous. All right. There are 23 Grand Masters who compose the Knights Templar. You have Psalms 23 in the Bible. All right. "23" is the letter W in the alphabet. The number 23 is versatile, immutable, able to bend and mold to the demands of others easily. 23 is also the number for Sirius. And that's why you see people like Air Jordan wearing 23. And those people, that's their way of telling you that they're gods. Person with 23 can be both emotional and spiritual. But negatively speaking, they can be very dominating if they allow their desires to run away with them. All right. So it kept saying creativity, creativity. So he's here to have the power of creativity, but he's still connected to the Sirius constellation. And he's here to build. Career, build, but especially in the sixth house, which is ruled with Virgo energy. And if you notice, his Virgo is in the second house, and that's the money house. But it's just interesting because when you go to his 10th house, which is ruled by Capricorn, you have Taurus there, which is the money. That rules the money house. But there's nothing there. So it doesn't look like he's going to be as successful in business financially. But you do see part of fortune and all that, and say the Leo. Because even Venus is financial. Excuse me. So somehow his blessings going to be in a more financial, in a more dating realm. Dating, love, whatever you want to call it. But then for some reason they gave his Venus 20 or judgment, and that's Pluto, and that's Pluto energy. And that's where you see Pluto at 2 degrees, which is the couple number, with Libra. So that relationship is in the some type of judgment, but not real bad, because he's still being blessed. Like with the sun, with Venus, with Jupiter. And as you can see, his Juno, we'll see that that's the comedy of it. See, his Juno just left Libra. Because see, what I would have said, if that Juno was in Libra, I would have said, now count her 7th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's Capricorn. So that has to be him. But they took their Juno out of. It's like whatever you guys were in a past life, it seemed like you pissed somebody off. And like what they're doing is they're saying, okay, we're going to make them miss it. Like they're always going to miss it just by this much. So she already knows if that's true. Because I had another guy I did his chart for before. He was pissed off. But I knew this guy. Like I didn't know him. Like I met him out here, but we actually talked and everything. And what happened was he had a twin flame that he was crazy about. But then he met this other female. So he wanted me to figure it all out. So I put the 3 charts together. And I told him, the one that's your twin is her. And he didn't want it to be her. He wanted it to be the other female. Because the other female, they was in separation too. But when they did it, it was like unbelievable. Like it blew him off the planet. So he wanted her to be his twin, but it wasn't. It was the other female. And then I could tell that the people that did his natal chart, so-called creators, that they was just messing with him. And I said it. I said, man, they're fucking with you. And then he said to me, he said, yeah, you're right. He said, you're the only one in the midst. And he said, I know they are. I could tell. So they're doing that to y'all. It's like missed it by that much. Just like by a little bit. By like literally like 1 degree. So I think in the past life, you two might have really been partying really hard. And y'all did a lot of whatever y'all did. So now they're kind of playing with you a little bit in this life. So then you got Aquarius in the 8th house, which again, and she has Aquarius in the 8th house. I'm going to count it again. Okay, let me do it one more time. Okay, his is Aquarius in the 7th house. Yours is Aquarius in the 8th house. And again, like Aquarius in the 7th house, again, that's an alternative type relationship. Or even if it was, like, say if it was a guy and a female, he's still not going to want to be tied down. So he's not really there for the, like, phone. He don't want to be phone calls all the time and stuff like that because he still wants his freedom. Eighth house, Pisces in the 8th house. Again, those are water signs. Again, so that's going to be very watery. But again, extremely psychic. See, he's extremely psychic. Like, he's like top of the line. Like, really, really psychic. Intuitive, psychic. Yeah. Probably infat. You name it. He's on it. Ninth house, his medium qualities there, 23. Aries, Chiron retrograde. So he has some stuff that didn't heal. Chiron retrograde, that's the wounded healer. And it's 15. So there goes that Capricorn energy again, or just too connected to a physical state of life, a physical way of life, or a physical material state of mind. And when I say material, all I'm talking about is anything earthly or anything that's not really spiritual. And that's that aggressive Aries energy again. On both of these charts, where you see that Aries energy, you see a lot of wounds, a lot of wounds. Tenth house, Taurus is there, and that rules the second house of money and things like that. But in his second house, sixth house, and 10th house, you see nothing that would imply finances. And then they do it again. 0 degrees. The moon goes into Gemini. And that's what they told me. When I did the cards and I was asking about the time, those angel cards showed me sun and moon. And I didn't know what they meant. I thought it was going to be related to the time of birth. But that's what you got. Your sun sign is Gemini and his moon sign is Gemini. But it's only at 0 degrees. Like, it's to frustrate the hell out of It's like if you were a woman and you were waiting for love. You were just waiting and waiting. So the way they designed it is it would always get to the point. It's almost at the point of climax, and then everything stops. And you can see it. But now, the dangers, like I told you, now Saturn is karma. Saturn is also abusive. Notice how Saturn's at 20 degrees, which I told you is a judgment card. And I keep telling you, this is payback. Something happened in a past life that now you're paying for it now. Now, don't stop there. I've always told y'all, Vesta does not like abuse. Vesta does not like dominant, abusive energy. And I said a lot of times on natal charts, you'll see Vesta right with Saturn. Because that's her way of telling Saturn, you better stop. Vesta also puts you in jail. She's in control of all that jail, fire, energy, spiritual stuff, sex. She's connected to all that. But Vesta conjunct Saturn can also be a person that'll do whatever it takes to get what they want. And the number 15 is again what? The devil, Capricorn. Bondage. So it definitely appears to be abuse here with that Gemini, abuse from him toward her. Because her sun sign is Gemini. And if you notice her Vesta, his Vesta is 1551. Now whenever I see like if I see 17, 71, 14, 41, I call that the turn on, turn off. I always do that. Going into his 12th house is Cancer in the 12th house, but it's EP at 19 degrees. So EP is the heart of the sun, and 19 is the sun card. So it kind of makes me feel like he feels pretty good about family in the 12th house. But in the 4th house, it's a lot of Scorpio energy, which could be obsession, codependency, power struggles. And maybe he feels good about the family in the 12th house because maybe a lot of stuff at some point is going to be brought out. Because sometimes that's what the sun does. All right. So you definitely can tell they're connected, but it's hard to tell. It's hard for me to say they're twin flames because every time you get to the determining factor, they move the item usually to 0 degree, 0 degrees. If I saw his Venus, I would say he might find himself in a relationship with a Leo. But her Leo in her 5th house, let's see. Well, her Leo got a vertex and all that, but it doesn't necessarily. And then they do it. They move her true north node out. Palace in Virgo or the 6th house. Find her Virgo. It's by itself for the most part. Find her 6th house. It's a true north node. Juno, because you really can't say Juno in Libra. You could, but you can't. But her Libra does mimic his with Uranus and Pluto. And then Juno in Scorpio. Well, then in Scorpio you have her vertex. Then his vertex is Sagittarius in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th house. You go to her 5th house, you see a vertex. His true north node is Capricorn. And her 7th house of relationship is Capricorn. Like I said, what I would honestly tell you is there's enough indications to say y'all are twins, but what they did to y'all was the most defining situation. They booted it out and put it on 0 for the most part. So me, I couldn't say definitely twins because there might be somebody that fits it. Because it'll tell a story. Twin flames, their natal charts always tell a story. It's very, very rarely that it looks like they don't. And sometimes it might be because it's in the numerology and not in the placements. But that's as far as I can go with both of these. And remember, anybody else that's interested, you can contact me. You can get the services offered and priceless. You can contact me. And remember, I do anything that what we call supernatural, paranormal, past life, present life, love, relationships, everything, finance. I do all that stuff. All I try to tell people is don't do bubblegum astrology. It's alright to know if you want to be a singer and all that stuff, but don't make that your priority in life. Make your life purpose. Why are you here? Make that your primary in life, and then you don't have to worry about a lot of stuff getting taken away from you because you're focusing on things that the universe never expected you to focus on, and then the universe is going to come and take it away from you. Just like when you see that Pluto retrograde right there, with Libra, and that's in 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth house. So again, it's going to be something concerning family or whatever is in the fourth house, but also whatever's in relationships or partnerships or whatever. Something has to be taken away so that this person can move on. And when you look at, remember when we got to his Libra, he's got so much stuff going on with that Libra. I'm not saying that's what they're going to take away, but if you notice, he's got a whole lot of way too much going on. That might even be what they call that, a stellium. A stellium is when you got like 4 or more planets in it, and that's what he's got. Because that could really mess a person up with stability. So that again, but that's why she's got to be strong, because see, he might be in danger at some point. And if you ask me, it's probably happened before in a past life, because look, Pluto retrograde on her chart. Remember what Pluto represents. Pluto represents like hell and Hades. So she has to be strong, especially for him. All right, this is Get. God bless.